Hello, this is Ebka. We're making a Halloween treat. You guys made a Halloween party and got all your theme and your decorations and your treat that you're going to make. So, this is what I would make for my Halloween party, and it's a tradition that my family makes every year. I was just talking to my daughter Kate last night, and she wants popcorn balls when she comes home from college. So, there's probably, as you get older, things that you really like that your parents made for holidays or special occasions, and you always want those things when you come home. So I will be making more of these this weekend. So popcorn balls. So what you're going to need is, let me grab my recipe here. You are going to need popcorn. I'm trying to get you to see that. Popcorn. You're going to need marshmallows, and you're going to need 2 cups of mini marshmallows, 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1 stick of margarine, light Karo or corn syrup, and then I like to add food coloring just to add a little punch of color for Halloween specifically. So I would do like orange or purple, something that represents Halloween. Okay, so let's get started on making popcorn balls. Okay, let's see if I can. All right, so one of the things you want to do first is pop your popcorn, okay? And you need 8 quarts. I have a stir crazy, and I made 3 poppers full, and I have this big bowl, and pretty much that is representative of about 8 quarts, okay? When you pop your popcorn, what you want to be careful of are what we call the kernels or the old maids, okay? You don't want somebody to bite into this, and so you wouldn't put them in your popcorn balls, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of them, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to just lightly grab the popcorn like this, and you're going to put it into a different container, okay? So just lightly grab it, put it into a different container, and do that all the way down. And then the old maids are heavy, so they're going to remain on the bottom, and you'll just discard those when you get all through the popcorn, okay? Nobody wants to break a tooth on a popcorn ball. Okay, so I've already done all that at home, and so I just brought in the good popcorn, but I wanted to show you the old maids. So I've already done that. So this is ready to go. All right, so basically this is a real quick, simple, easy recipe. All we want to do is get our butter melting. So that's 1 stick. And you can kind of put all these in together. There's no really rhyme or reason. I would suggest measuring the dry ingredients first and then do the light corn syrup, just because of the fact that you don't want to put the corn syrup in here and then have to wash it and then go get the other one. I'm also going to need a wooden spoon for this, so a saucepan, a wooden spoon, and I'll need a leveler and also a spatula. And this is really good with 2 people when you get to the part where you actually have to make the popcorn balls. It's just going to be me today, so I'm hoping that I can do it because I usually have a sidekick. So hopefully we can do this. Okay, so for marshmallows, you need 2 cups of the mini marshmallows. So you just want to measure it out. Okay, and then go ahead and add that into the mixture. Maybe when you write up your demo page, you can maybe talk a little bit about some of the sanitation things that I am doing. Hair up, apron on, clean the counter, my hands are washed. So those are some things to kind of add in. I'm just going to add just a teeny bit more marshmallows, just a teens. Okay. And then I'm going to need 2 cups of powdered sugar. So this is more like a candy for Halloween at my house. So I'm just going to take this and level it off in this bowl, and then I'll just kind of put that back when I have time. So 1 cup in. I'll show you the saucepan here in just a second. So some more powdered sugar. And then I'm going to go ahead and level that off. 2 cups in. All right. I'll deal with that later. Okay, so now I got my powdered sugar, and this is where you're gonna need your 1 cup of Karo syrup. Now, if I had cooking spray, what I would do right now is I would spray that, and then the Karo syrup would fall right out. But of course, I don't have any right at the moment, so what I'm gonna have to do is use my spatula. So 1 cup of Karo syrup. Okay, get that nice kind of dome on top, and then go ahead and pour that in. Use your spatula to get all of it out. And whenever you're doing like a candied type of treat, you always want to boil for like a minute after it boils, because that kind of gets it stringy like candy. Like it kind of reminds me of cotton candy, if you will. So you want it to be kind of stringy so it connects together and sticks. All right. So now what I want to do is just get that to melt. And I'm just going to keep on stirring it because I don't want it to burn. Okay. And all I'm looking for is boiling and all the marshmallows to be melted. Okay. And then this is where you can kind of decide what you want as far as like, your food coloring. So I'm going to add in some red and some blue because I want purple. I'm hoping that's what that will give me. And I'm going to probably run over here in a second and get my battery cord because my computer just told me it's dying. So I'm going to leave this for just a second to go grab that. Look at that. Boom. All right, so I'm back and I'm stirring. And again, I'm waiting for that to boil. One thing you want to prep at this time is usually I use a pie plate and I get cold water because when I go to make the popcorn balls, this sauce was just boiling, right? And the cold water is going to keep my hands from burning when I go to grab the popcorn balls. Okay, so just be careful of that if you decide to make these. I can remember one time when I was probably in high school, maybe freshman or sophomore year, I wanted to make popcorn balls at a friend's house. And I didn't have the recipe and I didn't want to call my parents and bother them. So we decided to make them by memory. And so instead of Karo syrup, I was like, well, let's just use white sugar because sugar is sugar, right? But it is different. And so to basically sum it up, they did not turn out, they were terrible. And I learned my lesson about following a recipe at that time and how important it was to sometimes use the same product when you make something, because it can be important for that. So, all right, so I'm keep going, waiting for that boiling point. Ooh, I just dropped some on the one of my marshmallows got away from me. Oh, it smells like a campfire in here, roasted marshmallows. All right, so just kind of keep stirring. You're waiting for that boiling point. If I did it and put it on right now, more than likely my popcorn balls wouldn't stick together. So I'm kind of waiting for that stringiness to happen, and it will. It's just it's a waiting game, a process. You could also, maybe if you wanted to, make these a little bit different, is you could always make your popcorn balls and then have maybe sprinkles waiting that you could dip them in or something like that, and just make them a little bit more, not appealing, but just kind of more funky with, Halloween type sprinkles or eyeballs or something like that. kind of like a carameled apple, only you're doing it with a popcorn ball. You could also put these on a stick, I'm sure, you know, if you wanted to be funky. You could do it that way too. So I'm just, again, waiting for that boiling point, and I'm just going to keep on stirring until I get it. And hopefully it'll boil soon. So I don't know if you guys remember this from last year, but do you remember us making grilled cheese jack-o'-lanterns? Okay, so that would be fun. I'm taking those out of the oven right now. That went right through. Okay, so those are done. Come on, boiling. Let's go. Sometimes it's a waiting game and you got to be patient, and Sepka's got other things to do that I can't really be patient as I want to be. Yep. We're getting there. I can see it starting. There we go. You can kind of see it on the edges where it's starting to kind of come in on itself. I'm just waiting for that stringiness. That's what I need to make popcorn balls. The stringiness. Boil, boil. It's getting there. Gotta keep on stirring. I did up my heat a little bit. I'm not on high, but I'm really close. And again, if you're going to do something like that, you got to stay with it and you got to keep on stirring, okay? Because otherwise it can burn on the bottom. And that's one thing we don't want. Come on. This doesn't want to boil for me, I guess. Starting, can you kind of see that in the pan there? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to boil it for 1 minute. Watch says 32, so I'm going to boil it, keep stirring it. And I'm looking for that stringiness. Almost there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull that from the heat. And then I'm going to bring my popcorn balls over. Oh, shoot. Just spilled some food coloring. Bringing my popcorn over. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to need my spatula. Wherever I put that. Where did I put my spatula? Oh, here it is. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're basically going to go around the pan and drop in the candied mixture, and then you're going to move it around. Okay, you will lose some popcorn. That's to be expected, but I'm just trying to move the popcorn around so that I'm coating each layer, okay? And then once I do that, I'm gonna do it again. And you can do it in more than one bowl. It doesn't necessarily have to be one bowl, but that's how I always done it. And I'm just coating again, trying to coat the edges where I think I might have missed. And then I'm going to kind of dig down and mix in that marshmallow mixture. Okay. And if I had somebody, I could have somebody do the mixture as I'm twirling this around and getting it deep into the popcorn, and it just makes it a little bit nicer when you're trying to get it all coated. So having an extra person I would recommend for sure. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add more. I'm going to do a cross and back motion this time. I'm going to empty it out. And then I'm just going to go ahead and hopefully make sure that I get every spot in here candy coated. So you just keep on stirring. Okay, so now what you want to do, I'm not sure where I want to put that, is you want to grab your water that you set aside. Okay, so I got my water and I'm going to put my hand in that just to get it wet, and I'm going to scoop like this. And I'm going to take the popcorn ball and I'm going to squeeze it tight. Okay, and then I'm going to put it down. And I'm going to grab more. I'm going to squeeze it. If your hands are really saturated with water, the popcorn will stick to you and not your hands. So you want them just to be lightly watered, just enough so that it's not going to burn you. That's what we want to try to avoid. And you don't have to dip them every single time. If you think you can go add another one and get it to not stick to you, then you're good, But the big trick is that you got to really press hard. You can't just, push them together and hope they stay. I mean, I'm really like cramming the popcorn together to make a ball. And sometimes, they're not going to always stick together. But the trick is to boil that mixture for 1 minute to make it more of a candied type of mixture. And then let these sit for a little bit. Let the candy kind of harden a little bit so that, it's not going to fall apart in your hands when you go to eat it. Because that has happened when I used to do this, and the kids would want them right away. And so I'd let them have one, and then, they'd fall apart and be disappointed that they broke apart. I also buy plastic baggies for these. So I usually use the ones that fold over just because I don't want to have to deal with a Ziploc. And I can just put them in those bags and use them. And they work really good because then you can get into them faster also, which is kind of nice. And this makes quite a few. Like I bet you about the size of my hands, I could make maybe 20, 24 maybe. Okay, so like 2 dozen. And you can make them any size you want. You could make them bite size so somebody could just grab one and pop it in their mouth and go. You can make them a little bigger, so it's going to take a couple more bites to get through it. But like I said, these are kind of like my family's go-to around Halloween. And these are always the things that we look forward to eating when it comes to this holiday. Okay. So remember, if you want extra credit on your assignment, then you need to show me you making your themed treat for Halloween, and then you can get some extra credit for that. Okay. And then I would say try some popcorn balls. They're delicious, and they're not really that hard to make. I'm just trying to mix in the remaining mixture that kind of made its way to the bottom. And so now they're like this mass gook on the bottom. So usually at our house too, we end up fighting for that little bit at the bottom that's not connected to any of the popcorn balls because they like that sweet candy mixture as well as any other person. So I'm almost done. Just going to see how many this yielded so then I could tell you that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20, And I bet you I could get 2 more. So I would say this is going to yield, depending on how you make them, between 23 and 24. Okay, so right around 2 dozen. So here's my last one. It's a little sticky because it's got most of the goo on it from the mixture. Okay, and so that's how you make popcorn balls. And again, I'm going to put them in the plastic bags just to make it for easy storage. And then they're easier to hand out that way. So Zevka signing out. Hopefully you try the popcorn balls for Halloween. It's a great treat. My family's loved them for years. So good luck.